I'm Steve Hall, a former Air Force guy. I teach at the Osher Lifelong Learning Institute, teach World War II history. The Rise and Fall of the Third Reich by William Shirer is the book for the rise of the Nazi Party, answering the question, how could it happen? In my classes, we spend time on the what and the when. We spend a lot of time on the why. And irony of ironies is, as we sit here, this is the week PBS is airing again the rise of Nazi Germany. You can't cite a television show as a source, but boy, you can sure use it as a pointer. And on this particular one, you couldn't get it anyplace else except on the PBS medium. The rise of Nazi Germany. What do you have? You have academics, intellectuals describing things that happen, and then you cut to film where those things are happening. The way you deliver it. People like hearing stories, and when you tell them stories, that's a good connecting vehicle. When you join PBS, you will be pleased at an entertainment level, an intellectual level, and you'll be pleased on an academic level. I think that's awfully good value and an awfully good reason, awfully good set of reasons to join PBS.
My connection to PBS goes back to the early days. First, I was a service provider for a couple of stations in other communities. More recently, I've been a member of the board of directors of PBS in Washington and PBS Foundation, and the advisory board right here at PBS Utah. I've learned how valuable PBS is to our communities. We bring people together, we inform, we educate, we entertain in such a unique way.
I'm Diana Sudruth. I am the Vice Chair of the PBS Utah Advisory Board and also a member of the Broadcasters Club. I support PBS Utah because it reaches all people. PBS Utah is so widely available, whether you live in a rural community, whether you're in an urban community, regardless of your income level. If you have a TV and there's a translator station nearby, you can get PBS Utah. And the programming is so diverse that there's information and there's education and there's inspiration, and everybody can find something to watch, and it really meets the needs of all people.
I'm Bob Huffner. I'm a professor emeritus at the University of Utah. We face a real problem in this country in terms of disinformation. And I think the best mechanism that we now have is public broadcasting, and I'm particularly pleased with how that's handled here.
We've been donating to PBS for decades, but a few years ago I was going through our budget, and so my bucket list that year was to become a Broadcasters Club member. I had seen that at the end of shows and thought, who are these Broadcasters Club members? I want to be a part of that. And what's happened with that is that becoming a member of Broadcasters Club, yes, one thing, it means my money's going to help make and help produce and help air these amazing programs. But there's a little known aside, and that is that you get to spend time with other Broadcasters Club members. And Broadcasters Club members are people who love PBS Utah. They are people that know the shows that you know. They love the shows that you love.
Some of the perks of being a major donor is what made me decide, but I've always felt the same way as a firefighter. I felt that the sacrifices involved in doing that kind of work were worth it because of what it meant to the community. I feel like, as a retired firefighter, I'm not writing off some check and casually throwing it at PBS. It's a sacrifice, but I think PBS Utah is important enough to the community that it's worth the sacrifice.
I became a member of the Broadcasters Club and a donor because my niece had her first job here. And initially, I wanted to make sure that she stayed employed. I like having a community that is of similar minds, not all like minds, but of similar minds. And the opportunity to talk about what we saw last night or what series we're following, those are kind of the treasures that I like best about PBS Utah. The shows that I like on PBS Utah are the mysteries. They have intrigue, they have fabulous characters, and the story develops intricately, and of course I always love a good British accent.
My favorite PBS Utah show right now is All Creatures Great and Small, which is kind of a funny one to choose, but I remember watching the original version back when I was first married, and then reading all of the books and just getting totally enamored with James Herriot and his life. When I heard they were coming out with the new version, I got so excited, and I am eagerly awaiting the next season.
I'm particularly interested in the news programs. Which would be the News Hour, Washington Week in Review, the BBC, News USA, etc.
Oh my gosh, my favorite PBS shows. All of them. That's the challenge, that they fill up my DVR constantly. I'd have to say that my favorite are the mysteries.
Everybody loves Unforgotten, and we do too. We're just dying to hear how it comes out because we don't know yet.
What I love about PBS Utah right now is the British crime procedural programming. I'm an Anglophile. I just kind of love all things English, and PBS Utah is the best source for British crime procedurals. I can tell you that if I'm just clicking around through channels, if I click through PBS Utah, that's the one that I'll stop at. And I may watch an hour of TV without even being attentive to the title of the show.
I think we all have an obligation to do what we can to support the unique resources, programming, and role that PBS plays in our communities and across the country. It brings people together.
This fall on PBS, Ken Burns takes on Muhammad Ali.
I am the greatest.
An all-new season of Call the Midwife.
Nurse's House Midwife speaking.
Nova unlocks the secrets of the universe.
We want to know, what are our cosmic origins?
And stories of service and beyond with American veteran.
For 70 years, I never talked about it. Now I want to talk about it.
This fall on PBS. Watch live, stream anytime.
As we dedicate this episode to spreading awareness about the wounds of war.
Is it different this year? Is this something year to year? What is causing our fire seasons to be so bad?
Thank you for being with us today and helping to inform the people, not just of the state of Utah, but nationally as well.
It's interesting that it's turned into such an argument.
As the governor has pointed out.
Bring spending down just in general.
All right, let's do it.
Join us for a live 1-hour event where we spotlight awareness, access in underserved communities, and what we can do to overcome stigmas. PBS Utah Town Hall, your mental health.
Our yard itself is pretty much an urban forest.
Some of the amazing elements that you have here in your garden, how did you go about this process?
I have severe memory loss, and my husband helps me with my appointment, so I'm going to put him on the phone.
It's a feeling of failure. I just hear the words, but it's as if it takes time to translate it into meaning.
I call them divine wonders.
The word that came to him was eternity.
This place is here for everybody.
They're critical to all of us mentally, spiritually.
Who has a backyard like this?